Thieves trying to rob stores is nothing new, but sometimes their attempts are so bizarre or hilarious, they end up making the news for all the wrong reasons. Whether it's getting caught mid-heist or pulling off some strange disguises, these criminals sure don't make it easy for themselves. Number 1. Smartest thieves. A group of thieves pulled off at the crazy jewelry heist in West Hollywood, California, and it was all caught on surveillance video. After breaking in and taking what they came for, the group was caught celebrating their successful robbery. In the footage, you can see them high-fiving each other and acting like they just won some big prize. These thieves didn't just do a quick job, they spent a whole day robbing the place. They made 2 trips, one early in the morning and another at night. The store owners say the thieves cleaned out 2 safes and took everything from the display cases all over a 24-hour period. Number 2. Smash and grab thieves. Police recently caught a guy they were looking for in connection with a series of robberies, including a crazy smash and grab at a jewelry store in the Bronx. According to the NYPD, the guy smashed the front window of the store and started grabbing merchandise off the display right in front of everyone. While he was busy snatching up jewelry, another man was holding a bag for him to stuff the loot into. The crazy part? The store was actually open at the time, and someone inside tried to stop the robbery by lowering the mechanical gate, but it was too late. Number 3. An attempt to flee. This guy robbed an Apple store and decided his best course of action would be to literally jump off 2 stories. Safe to say, he definitely broke something. The dude could barely get up after falling, and when he did, he was walking super wonky. He tried running for a bit, but it was pretty useless, especially since the security guard was able to catch up to him. One thing's for sure, 1 apple a day will not fix that. Number 4. Instant karma. These guys walked into a store with a gun and clearly tried to rob it. One of them was pointing the gun at the clerk and basically told him to get as much money out as they could. But he wasn't just going to let these robbers tell him what to do. The second they turned their backs to him, the clerk pulled out a gun and shot both of them down. The second they were down, he ran right out of the store before anything else could happen. Number 5. Don't mess with this old man. Rashid Deshaun Lee Belvin, a 23-year-old from Los Angeles, was recently involved in a failed robbery attempt at Norco Market and Liquor in Norco, California. He, along with 3 other suspects, tried to rob the store, but things quickly went south. The store owner shot Belvin with a shotgun, hitting him in the left arm. After being shot, Belvin ran out of the store, shouting, "He shot my arm off!" Belvin was arrested and initially had bail set at $500,000. Number 6. Failed attempt. A robbery attempt got shut down fast when a guy tried to hold up a convenience store, but ended up facing off with a worker who had his own gun. This all went down on September 9th in Pensacola, Florida. The Escambia County Sheriff's Office shared the security footage, which shows 32-year-old Rakeem Stephen Tate making a very bad decision. He walked into the store with a gun tucked under his arm, just strolling around before talking to someone off camera. The clerk noticed Tate was armed before he even walked in. So, the clerk ran to the back, grabbed his own weapon, and got ready. After Tate realized his plan wasn't going to work, he left the store. He was later charged with attempted robbery and carrying a weapon openly. Number 7. Multiple stores in one day. A teenager wearing a ski mask and holding a gun tried to rob a store clerk at Uptown Smoke and Vape. But what's even crazier is that he wasn't alone. Police say this group of teens, just 15 and 16 years old, had already robbed the same store 2 weeks earlier. In the video, you can see one of the teens slam a young woman to the ground. It's brutal and violent, according to Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia, who added that these teens were responsible for at least 8 aggravated robberies in Dallas just in May, with many more likely on their record. Just half a mile down the road, they're also accused of robbing another smoke shop, where one teen even hit a store clerk in the head. Most of these robberies happened in broad daylight, in the afternoon. Number 8. Completely ignored. A robbery attempt went south real quick when a guy tried to hold up a nail salon, but no one took him seriously. This happened on July 2nd at Nail First in Atlanta, Georgia. The suspect stormed in, demanding money and telling everyone to get down. But instead of reacting, the customers and employees just stared at him. In fact, the salon's owner even answered a phone call while the guy was threatening them. One woman did stand up and put her hands out, but instead of handing over money, the suspect grabbed her phone. He yelled for everyone to hand over their cash, but still, no one budged. Frustrated and probably shocked by the lack of response, the guy finally gave up, turned around, and walked out. Number 9. Apple Store. A group of young guys pulled off a lightning-fast theft at the Fresno Apple Store in Fashion Fair Mall, swiping $27,000 worth of gear in just seconds. They grabbed 26 items, including the many iPhones. They all stormed in, ripped the gadgets right off the display tables, and made a quick getaway. Shoppers and employees could only watch as one of them dashed out carrying a bunch of laptops, even brushing past a group of terrified teenage girls on his way out. Number 10. Cell phone store. In England, a store owner in West Yorkshire handled an attempted robbery with surprising grace. A guy at a phone shop pretended to browse before grabbing 2 phones and making a run for it, only to find the door locked from the inside. Realizing he was trapped, he awkwardly brought the phones back and tried to play it off. The shop owner, instead of calling the cops, let the guy go. Later, he even posted the security footage online, offering help to anyone struggling instead of resorting to theft. Number 11. Quick-thinking jeweler. A woman walked into a high-end jewelry store, eyeing $7 million worth of diamonds. The jeweler even took her into the secure vault, where the priciest gems were kept, and they discussed a deal for 11 rings. Things got shady when she offered to wrap the jewels herself, using her own tape and pouch. Nervously, she made the classic switcheroo move, slipping fake gems back to the jeweler while hiding the real ones in her briefcase. Her plan, however, didn't fool anyone. The jeweler caught on, snatched her briefcase, and locked her inside the vault. While trapped, she even tried to shove the fake package up her skirt and then ripped it apart when that didn't work. Police arrived within minutes and arrested her. Number 12. Desperate thief. A robber's plan completely backfired at Latino Cell in southwest Houston, and the entire thing was caught on video. It happened on April 17, 2017, but investigators recently released the footage after the suspect, John Bell, pleaded guilty and got a 5-year prison sentence right before Christmas. In the video, Bell casually walked into the store on Hillcroft Avenue. Everything seemed normal until he went behind the counter and demanded the register be opened. That's when the store owner's wife, the clerk, and a customer with a stroller quickly ran out and locked the door, trapping Bell inside. Realizing he was stuck, Bell panicked. He pulled out a gun and fired at the lock 4 times, but it didn't budge. Frustrated, he started kicking the door and shouting in anger. Minutes ticked by, 3, 4, 5, and Bell got desperate. He begged some men outside the store for help, even dropping to his knees, but they just walked away, leaving him to face the consequences. Number 13. Young thief. Caught on surveillance, a 12-year-old boy calmly waited in line before pulling out a loaded 9mm handgun and demanding money from the cashier. Scared for her life, she handed over $3,800. To make matters worse, he fired a shot into the ceiling, proving he wasn't bluffing. Police caught him less than 5 minutes later, hiding between 2 buildings. During questioning, the boy admitted the robbery was about getting money, but wouldn't reveal his exact motive. Number 14. Badass lady. This guy came into the store, probably looking to rob it. He was wearing a mask and had a knife in his hand. Usually, when people show up with this get-up, you'd steer clear from them, right? Well, not this badass woman. She basically started pushing and hitting the guy until he ran off himself. Number 15. Not as planned. A store worker in New Zealand completely ignored an armed robber during a stick-up, focusing on helping a customer instead. In the video, a man dressed in black, holding what looks like a gun in a backpack, tries to demand money, but the cashier stays unfazed, calmly handing over the customer's lunch and walking away like nothing happened. The robber, clearly frustrated that no one was paying him any attention, eventually gave up and walked out. Safe to say, this robbery didn't exactly go as planned. Number 16. Trapped. Surveillance footage from a store in Lauderdale Lakes shows the guy browsing for about 30 minutes, piling up clothes and then trying to sneak out, only to find the door locked. Realizing he was trapped, he ditched the clothes and focused on escaping, attempting to force the doors open or break the glass. Employees stood by in shock, and one even tried to help by unlocking the door. That's when the man figured out how to open it himself. But instead of leaving empty-handed, he pushed an employee to the ground, grabbed the clothes, and bolted to a getaway car. Police say he managed to escape with around $200 worth of merchandise. Number 17. Swordsman. A crazy scene in Mississauga, Ontario was caught on security cameras when a jewelry store owner used a sword to scare off 4 armed robbers. The suspects had driven a van into the storefront, ramming it multiple times to break in and grab gold and jewelry. But their plan fell apart when the owner confronted them with the unexpected weapon, forcing them to flee empty-handed. Number 18. Anything for your kids. In Florida, a man walked into a Little Caesars armed and ready to rob the place, but with a pretty unusual excuse. He told the staff he was just trying to get money to buy Christmas presents for his kids. Surveillance footage shows the man entering the store with a gun, but witnesses said he was surprisingly polite, even asking the worker to open the safe. When he found it empty, he asked for the cash registers, filled up a backpack, and made his getaway. Before leaving, he apologized, telling the worker he was sorry, but had to do it for his kids' Christmas. Number 19. Good Samaritan. In Hollywood, a man walked into a pizzeria, sucker punched a diner, and stole his stuff. But things didn't go as planned. The restaurant owner next door saw it happen and immediately chased down the thief, tackling him right on busy Hollywood Boulevard. The owner's girlfriend jumped in to help, along with another woman, and they managed to grab the stolen items back. The thief kept trying to escape, but the girlfriend stood on his legs and kicked him until he stopped struggling. It turns out the thief had been a regular at the restaurant, where they'd been helping him out for months with food and water. The owner was shocked that the guy would repay him this way. Number 20. Hidden AirTag. A man browsing a garden center for plants turned out to have a knack for theft, according to police. They say he stole plants, pricey pots, and even a 150-pound garden fountain during nighttime raids. The manager of Rogers Gardens in Corona del Mar, California, had enough of the repeated thefts and came up with a clever plan. He hid Apple AirTags in some of the items. It worked. The trackers led police straight to the suspect's house, where they found stolen items decorating his front yard. Authorities confirmed it was all from the nursery. The man wasn't trying to sell the items. He was using them for his own yard. He's now facing charges of grand theft. Number 21. Ulta Store. When a group of thieves targeted a Pennsylvania Ulta beauty store, the police were already onto them. Officers had received a tip about a car tied to previous Ulta robberies heading to an Exton location, so they set up a stakeout. First, the driver went into the store, made a small purchase, and left. Then, 2 others from the car entered and started filling bags with perfume. Their actions set off an alarm, and police moved in. The suspects tried to make a run for it, but officers chased them down and restrained them. A 16-year-old and 19-year-old Isaiah Williams from New York were arrested. Number 22. Lawnmower Thief. This guy named Marcus Hubbard stole a lawnmower, but before he took off with it, he decided to mow the lawn at the house he took it from. This all happened in Port Arthur. The guy snuck in, grabbed the mower, and then mowed both the front and back yards like he was doing a favor. When the cops showed up, he bolted, dragging the mower behind him. They later found the mower dumped in an alley, but Hubbard managed to slip away. He's still on the run, and there's a warrant out for his arrest for burglary. Number 23. Catalytic converter thief. Catalytic converter theft is on the rise again, but one Dallas man wasn't having it. Clay Hayner caught a thief on his home security camera sneaking under his vehicle. Grabbing a metal pole, he ran outside and confronted the guy, who had a knife. Clay didn't back down and started swinging. The thief managed to escape but left behind a bag of tools. Clay suspects the thief was after his catalytic converter, a valuable car part that can sell for $1,500. This wasn't Clay's first run-in. His converter has been targeted 4 times in the past year. Number 24. Funeral home. A man broke into a funeral home and stole clothes, jewelry, and even a video game system. The owner didn't realize what had happened until he noticed things missing and checked the surveillance footage. The video showed the thief rummaging through the office and even trying on clothes meant for a deceased person's viewing. Police are now asking for help to identify him, so he doesn't strike again, especially targeting the defenseless. Number 25. Robbery suspect. A Houston restaurant turned into a scene of chaos when an armed robber stormed in, demanding cash from everyone inside. Surveillance footage shows terrified customers handing over their money, but one guy in a gray t-shirt wasn't about to back down. As the robber walked by, he pulled out his own gun and shot him. Afterward, he told the victims to grab their cash and made a surprising discovery. The robber's weapon was just a BB gun. The shooter left before police arrived, but now his lawyer has reached out to authorities to discuss what happened. Number 26. Thief in Rudolph costume. It seems Santa's reindeer have taken a dark turn, or at least one of them. A thief in Colorado, dressed as Rudolph, was caught on security cameras stealing from a local business. Instead of spreading holiday cheer, this red-nosed culprit was grabbing goods. At one point, they even took off the giant Rudolph head, but eventually put it back on. To make light of the situation, the cops wrote their own version of Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, turning it into a hilarious parody about the thief's shady scheme. Number 27. Lemonade stand. An 11-year-old boy, Liam, is crushed after someone swiped his lemonade stand. He had been running it for over a year near his home in San Diego, saving up for a dirt bike. While stepping away for a moment to grab cups, a gray pickup truck pulled up, loaded the table, chairs, and even tossed out his sign before driving off. Liam came back just in time to see his stand disappearing down the road, letting out a heartbroken cry. His parents, Carrie and Leonard, are trying to stay optimistic, thinking maybe the person mistook the setup for free roadside items. Number 28. Jugging incident. A new crime wave called jugging is on the rise, and it's scary stuff. Here's how it works. Thieves target people after they leave banks or high-end stores, then follow them, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, usually when the victim steps out of their car. One Houston man, Cameron, shared his experience. He unknowingly had a Ford Escape tailing him for about 30 minutes as he went to different spots. The thief finally broke into his car when he stopped for a sandwich, laser focused on finding something valuable. They grabbed a bank pouch but ended up with nothing, since Cameron had already deposited the checks it used to hold. Number 29. Stolen car. A crazy scene went down in California when cops were after a guy driving a stolen pickup truck. He was wanted for assaulting a police officer after allegedly backing into a squad car during a traffic stop. At one point, during the chaos, someone watching the whole thing even gave the driver a fist bump. Number 30. Stealing Legos. There's been a crazy rise in Lego thefts lately, with Lego stores across the US becoming prime targets. Thieves are snatching up popular sets, especially the limited edition ones, and flipping them online for big bucks, sometimes even thousands. In Las Vegas, a Lego store called Bricks and Minifigs has already been hit 4 times since opening just a year ago. In one robbery, a guy grabbed several expensive Lego sets from the top shelf and ran out, while in another, 2 guys took off with around 1,800's worth of Legos. Number 31. Burglars. A guy in a fedora was caught on security footage climbing a post to unscrew a light bulb, then popping a window screen to break into a house. He crawled inside and came out with box after box. Turns out, he was stealing gifts from a bridal shower, things like towels, plates, and silverware. And he wasn't alone. There was a woman helping him. The bride, Stephanie, had to delay her wedding for a year because of the pandemic, and now this happened. Number 32. Jewelry thief. This woman might be one of the boldest and most dangerous robbers out there. She casually walked into a jewelry store in North Carolina and stole a bunch of diamonds and watches. This isn't her first time, though. It's actually her 6th heist since April. She's hit jewelry stores in Florida, Georgia, and Tennessee, too. The FBI is on the lookout for her. They say she's in her late 20s or early 30s, about 5'8" and 130 LEBs. What's wild is she's been doing all of this solo, and she's the only female the Jeweler Security Alliance has seen pull off this kind of robbery by herself. In this recent heist, she tied up the employees with zip ties, grabbed the keys to the display cases, and filled a bag with trays of diamonds. She was dressed in a white tank top and gym shorts, which is why people have started calling her the Jogger Jewel Thief. Number 33, Pot of Gold. Police have caught the guy who stole a $1.6 million pot of gold from an armored truck in New York City. They were looking for 53-year-old Julio Nello after he snatched an 86-pound bucket of gold flakes in broad daylight back in September. He made off with it in Midtown Manhattan, and after a search in Florida and California, they finally found him in Ecuador, his home country. It turns out he'd been deported from the US 4 times before. Some of the gold has been recovered, but not all of it. Number 34, Stolen Truck. This dramatic video shows a man chasing down his stolen truck. Robert Pendergast saw his neighbor's surveillance footage showing someone driving off with his burgundy pickup. But luckily, he had an Apple AirTag in the truck's console. The AirTag helped him track the truck's location in real time. Pendergast went after the thief and chased him for 30 minutes, even calling a deputy to give updates as he went. At one point, the stolen truck drove right past him, and he quickly made a U-turn to follow. Realizing he couldn't shake Pendergast, the thief pulled over, jumped out, and ran into a hotel. In the end, Pendergast got his truck back, and he was amazed at how helpful the AirTag was. Number 35, Frying Pan. In a bizarre turn of events, a Chicago homeowner chased a suspected burglar out of his house with a frying pan. Jason Williams got an alert from his security camera showing an intruder inside his home, so he grabbed the first weapon he could find, a frying pan. He swung it at the suspect as he chased him out the door, even managing to land a hit on the guy's head as he tried to escape through the fence. The thief didn't get far before the cops showed up. Jason had a good laugh about the whole thing and posted a pic of the dented frying pan, joking that the burglar was probably going to have a headache. Number 36, Amazon delivery man or thief. A sneaky thief in Philadelphia was caught on a home security camera pretending to be an Amazon delivery driver. But instead of delivering packages, he was stealing them. He even wore the classic Amazon vest and scouted out unattended packages, taking them off porches and riding off on his bike. Meanwhile, in North Carolina, a woman tricked a delivery guy into thinking she was the homeowner and casually took a laptop. In Texas, a woman waited down the street until a FedEx driver dropped off a package, then swooped in to grab it just moments later. Number 37, Purse Thief. A thief's getaway in Manhattan was cut short when he was chased down by both an officer and a bystander. The suspect had allegedly stolen a purse on the subway at 59th Street. The chase lasted about 30 seconds, and the guy even made it past the turnstiles and halfway up the exit steps until he lost his pants. He was soon caught by the police, and it turns out this wasn't his first subway theft. The good news? The woman who had her purse stolen got it back. Number 39, Home Invasion. In Milwaukee, 3 armed guys broke into a house, but things didn't go as planned. The suspects, all wearing hoodies, tried to force their way in, while 12-year-old Edmundo Pina was playing video games inside. He first heard a bang and didn't think much of it, but when he heard a second one, he ran upstairs to warn his mom. Meanwhile, the suspects rushed in, but the family dog started barking, which scared them off. They grabbed a laptop before fleeing. Edmundo and his mom ran out to the balcony, worried they might have to jump if the guys got inside. Number 40, Ninja. A guy in Alaska decided to dress like a ninja and stole a sword from a comic book store in Anchorage early in the morning. The whole thing was caught on surveillance. The employee said they're now checking to make sure the sword was the only thing taken, but there's no word yet on why the thief went for that particular item, or why he dressed up like a ninja. What was your favorite footage? Comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time. Goodbye.